Have you ever been told your entire life that you don't belong, only to find out the whole world was wrong? My father demanded a DNA test for my grandfather's inheritance. I'd been the family disappointment for 23 years, while my flawless older brother Kyle had everything handed to him on a silver platter. When Grandpa died and left me his house in the will, Dad completely snapped. "There's no way that senile old man left you anything," he snarled, pacing our kitchen like a trapped animal. "You're probably not even my real son. Your mother was sleeping around before we got married." Kyle smirked from the corner. "Yeah, remember how wild Mom was in college? Dad's got a point." My stepmother Linda joined in with that syrupy voice she always used. "Sweetheart, we just want what's fair for the real family. You understand, right? They gave me 48 hours to take a paternity test, or they'd challenge the will in court." By nightfall, the entire extended family was blowing up the group chat, calling me a fraud, a leech, a bastard who tricked an old man. What none of them knew was this: for the past 2 years, I'd been quietly taking care of Grandpa while they all ignored him. Every doctor's appointment when his arthritis made it hard to walk. Every grocery run when he could no longer drive. Every lonely evening when he just wanted to talk about Grandma and the life they'd built together. I was also aware of the second will he'd written 3 months before he passed. The next morning, Dad changed the locks on Grandpa's house. When I showed up with my key, it wouldn't turn. My clothes and personal things were dumped on the lawn in black garbage bags. "You're trespassing," Dad shouted from the porch. "This is family property until you prove you belong here." So I called the police. Within an hour, Officer Ortiz stood in the driveway, carefully reading the will. "Sir," he said calmly, "according to this document, your son owns this property. You're the one trespassing." Dad's face went crimson as the officer made him hand over the new keys. Neighbors watched from behind curtains and windows like it was a live drama. A week later, the DNA test arrived at the family lawyer's office. Everyone showed up like it was a holiday. Dad wore his sharpest suit and kept checking his Rolex, already spending money that wasn't his. Kyle brought his new girlfriend, whispering loudly, "You're about to see how we deal with fake family members." Linda snapped selfies non-stop, clearly planning a victory post. Uncle Robert and Aunt Deborah drove in from 2 states away, just to witness my downfall. The room buzzed with smug anticipation. Then the results came back. 99.9% match. I was absolutely my father's biological son. Dad's celebration, high fives, laughs, victory nods, lasted exactly 10 seconds. The lawyer cleared his throat. "There's something else the family needs to be aware of." Silence. "Your father left a second, more recent will that legally overrides the first." Linda's phone camera clicked as I stood up and played a video on my phone. Grandpa's voice, weak but unwavering, filled the room. "To my son Harold and his family, who abandoned me in my final years and only remembered me when money was involved, you received nothing. To my grandson Noah, who stayed, who drove me to chemo, who held my hand when I was afraid, the house, the insurance, the savings, everything is yours. You earned it through love, not blood." Dad's face drained of color, then flushed violently. "That's not valid. He wasn't in his right mind." The lawyer smiled, sliding documents across the table. "It's fully legal. Signed, witnessed, notarized. Medical records confirm his mental clarity." Kyle exploded, shouting about fairness. Linda frantically typed on her phone, trying to control the damage. Uncle Robert stared like the floor had vanished beneath him. I stood and looked at them one by one. "Thanks for making this public, Dad. Now the whole family knows who you really are." As I reached the door, Dad grabbed my arm. "This isn't over. I'll sue you for everything." I calmly pulled out another envelope. "Actually, it is. This is Grandpa's final letter to you. Want me to read it out loud?" His grip loosened. "You're dead to me," he screamed. I turned back once. "Funny. That's exactly what Grandpa said about you." Behind me, Linda's sobs echoed as the door closed, and for the first time, the world finally made sense.